So, what is this word? Acute. A cute boy standing on the road, looking very serious. Seems like this thing demands urgent attention. All right. This story is to make you or help you remember the meaning of the word acute. Now, let's say there was a cute boy. He was standing on the road and he looked very serious. Serious, right? That is how you look serious, I suppose. So let's say there was this cute boy, a cute boy, standing on the road looking very serious. So what does acute mean? Acute means very serious, right? You can also say it is something that demands urgent attention, something that is so serious that you need to give it urgent attention. It can also mean a sharp rise in something, okay? Now let's look at these examples. The problem of poverty is acute in rural areas. That means in rural areas, areas that are not getting the benefits as urban areas, you know, poverty-stricken areas where people are not even able to afford, let's say, food, or there is no proper electricity, water. So such problems and poverty as well in itself is acute in rural areas, very serious in rural areas. Doctors on alert after 3 kids died of acute hepatitis. Acute hepatitis, hepatitis that needed urgent attention. It demanded urgent attention. Dogs have an acute sense of smell. That means dogs have a heightened, a raised sense of smell. Their sense of smell is a lot, right? I mean, you must have seen dogs helping bombers or people at airports to sniff out drugs or bombs, right? So we can say that dogs have an acute sense of smell. All right. Okay. Now moving forward to our next word, adroit. Skillful and clever in dealing with people and situations. Adroit is someone who's skillful. They have a skill and they are clever. Okay, they're smart in dealing with people and situations. Whatever situation they're in, whoever they meet, they know how to skillfully tackle the problem or deal with the person in front of them. She is adroit at handling problems. That means she's skillful. She's good at handling problems is what we can say, or she doesn't have problems dealing with problems. It's quite easy for her. Yeah. New economic challenges need adroit management. That means these new economic challenges would need management that is skillful, that is clever. Okay. His adroit replies to hecklers won him many followers, right? That means his replies, the way he responded, it was skillful and clever. So it was able, his replies, they were able to win him a lot many followers because he knew exactly what to say. You must have seen on Instagram, Facebook, people talking, recording their videos to talk, right? What do? They talk skillfully in order to catch the attention of their audience, right? To make more clients. So what are those people doing? Those people are using skill. They're being clever. And this would be called as being adroit, right? Okay. Our next word is adulation. Okay. Extreme admiration, more than is deserved, right? You can also say flattery. Nowadays on social media, people are mostly using adulation, right? They're just extremely admiring people who they don't even know. Like, you must be having so many people in your social media accounts who you barely know. Like, you just accepted the friend request because they sent it to you, right? And what do those people do? They, comment on your pictures. They write so many good things, and you read and you're like, wow, this person is such a nice fellow. They are admiring me. But guys, that extreme admiration, more than you deserve. Sometimes some people go overboard. They, admire you even more than you should be deserving. And this is called as adulation. You can also say it's flattery. For example, in office, people, let's say employees, they have to sometimes flatter their boss. Sometimes they keep telling their boss how nice he is, how smart he is, right? They keep telling them what an amazing work he does, his leadership skills, his this, is that. Maybe that's not true for the boss, but they have to do it, right? Because, I don't know, workplace. So you can say that this flattery is adulation, right? So the football player enjoyed the adulation of his fans. Now, there was a football player, and the fans would flatter him, admire him, and he absolutely loved it. I mean, who doesn't, right? If someone would admire you, I suppose you would enjoy it too, because I personally do. The book was received with adulation by critics. Now, there are critics, people who read things, watch things, and then they give their expert comments on it, right? So critics, when they admired some book, so the book was received with adulation, with extreme admiration by the critics. What did I do to deserve this adulation? Now, there is some person who is, maybe really confused. Why am I getting all this flattery? I did not even do anything, right? So that person is asking, what did I do to deserve this adulation, right? Why am I getting this added admiration? So adulation can be broken into added admiration. Admiration that is just added upon the previous admiration. So admiration over admiration, right? Extreme admiration is adulation. Okay. All right. Moving on to our next word, affable. Now, this is a word you can use in your casual conversations as well. You can use most of these though, but let's see what the word means. Affable, pleasantly easy to talk to, friendly or amiable. You can simply say that affable means friendly, someone who's friendly. Okay. Let's say your next door neighbor, he is affable. That means he's friendly, right? Or the dog you meet every day on the road, he is friendly, so he's affable, right? Or maybe your brother is not very affable, right? That means he's not very friendly. Pleasantly easy to talk to, or friendly, or you can also substitute it with amiable. He struck me as an affable sort of a man. That means he appeared to me as a friendly person. Okay. The chairman was quite affable at the meeting. The chairman was very friendly at the meeting. He was pleasantly easy to talk to. He did not really seem like a chairman. He was not behaving like he's a celebrity. He was easy to talk to. The checkers at the airport were poker-faced but affable. Now, you might have seen at the airport, the security, they have to stay poker-faced, right? They can't show many expressions on their faces. They have to stay like, right? But they are affable, right? They're friendly. If you have any troubles, you can definitely tell them and they would be helping you. So, friendly, affable. As you can see, these two girls right here being friendly to each other. You can also see, how girls talk. Ha ha ha. Yeah, yes. So yeah, that is called being affable, being friendly. Okay. All right. Moving on to our next word, affectation. Now, affectation is an unnatural behavior to impress someone. Okay. You can also substitute it by the word pretense. Now, an unnatural behavior, it's not a very natural behavior to keep trying to impress people. So we are going to say it's unnatural, an unnatural behavior to impress someone, right? Affectation. You are trying to, please other people. You are doing things just because you want others to tell you, oh, nice, you did great, or this was so good, right? Because you want to hear the compliments, right? So that behavior, that want to impress people, that is called as affectation. Now, calling everyone darling is just an affectation. You might have seen in movies or, series that project, ladies who are speaking in this weird English accent, and they go like, darling, you don't have to worry about this. And if you guys have seen 101 Dalmatians, if any one of you knows Cruella, she used to all the time call the actress in the movie, she used to call her darling, Anita, right? That was the actress. So calling darling is just an affectation. That is just a way to impress people, right? Her posh accent is pure affectation, right? Let's say someone has a posh accent and they're trying to speak really like they're rich or something, but they're doing it only because they're trying to please the other person, right? So that is also affectation. The affectation just looks ridiculous. That means people who are trying to please others, it just looks, super ridiculous. So guys, remember, we are not born to please others. Do what pleases you, okay? Let's not spend our lives trying to impress others. But yeah, you can do it a little for your parents, definitely. All right, let's move to our next word. Aghast. Now, the way I'm saying it, it should be able to help you understand what it means. Aghast, right? So can you see this guy eating popcorn? Most probably watching a horror movie. That is why hands are coming out of the screen. So yeah, this guy is watching a horror movie and his mouth, you can see wide open mouth, right? So he's filled with horror because he's seeing something terrifying. So aghast means being filled with horror when you see or hear something, right? So when you're watching a horror movie, you can be filled with aghast, right? Or you can be aghast. Let's look at these examples. His colleagues were aghast at the sackings. He stood aghast at the sight of so much blood. Like there was so much blood. This person was horrified. They were filled with horror. So that is what it means by aghast. Mayor was aghast over shortage of potable water. That means the mayor was extremely horrified. They were filled with horror as to what will happen. We don't have potable water, right? So mayor was aghast. He was filled with horror. Okay, so you can remember a ghost. Okay, a ghost is similar to aghast, right? So you saw a ghost, you were filled with horror, and that is what it means by aghast, filled with horror, right? I saw a ghost, I was filled with horror, and that is what is aghast. Aghast means filled with horror, right? Okay. All right, let's see this word. Alacrity. Now, alacrity means cheerful readiness. You can also say liveliness or eagerness. Can you see this person? So cheerful. I love her smile. So cheerful readiness or liveliness in a person. The eagerness to do something. You can also say briskness, right? So this means alacrity. If you are being cheerful, you're lively, you're eager to learn things, you're eager to know things, right? What would that be of yours? That would be your alacrity, right? She accepted the invitation with alacrity. That means she accepted the invitation with cheerful readiness. She was really happy to receive that invitation and she accepted it with a big smile on her face. It was an interesting challenge and I responded with alacrity. That means the challenge that was put forth seemed interesting. So I was eager and I responded with alacrity. That means I responded with eagerness. I wanted to know more about the challenge, right? Okay. Government acted with alacrity to address all issues. Now, alacrity can also be termed as briskness, being quick at something. Readily doing something. So if the government acted with alacrity, that means they acted with briskness. They acted quickly to address all issues. They were not slow, right? They were worried about the issues and they took it upon themselves to solve them as soon as possible. And what was the soon? It was readily. They solved the problems readily, or you can say their briskness was good. So they solved the problems briskly and the government acted with alacrity, right? Okay, I hope this was clear. Alacrity. All right, alienate, bad word. Okay, I would never want any one of you to feel this way, okay? All right, or to be this way. I should not say feel, I should say to be this way. Now, alienate, as you all know, aliens, they live totally away from us. If they do exist, if aliens do exist, they stay so far away from us, estranged on their own planet, they're indifferent, or you can say they are far from us, away from us, right? That is what alienate means, to make someone feel like an alien, right? So you can say alienate, to make someone feel like an alien. And what does it feel like to be an alien? It feels being, indifferent. It feels like you are separated from others. So to make unfriendly, hostile, indifferent, or estranged, right? To feel like you do not belong or being unfriendly, right? That is alienate. If you have a group of friends and one day you just decide to stop talking one of your friends, that friend is alienated now. They are away from you, away from the group. They are not feeling like they're part of you anymore, right? Okay, let's look at these examples. He alienated most of his colleagues with his bad temper. That means this guy, he had such a bad temper, he was always in a bad mood, that his colleagues, they soon started going away from him, right? He alienated most of his colleagues. He made them go away from him. Okay, so alienated, they drifted away, they went away from him because of his bad temper. So I would say always keep a good temper so that you never alienate any of your friends. All these changes to the newspaper have alienated its traditional readers. That means making so many changes in the newspaper. Now, the people, the traditional readers who used to love the old newspaper, they're alienated. That means they don't read the newspaper anymore. This new newspaper, they're not reading it anymore. They are drifting away from this newspaper, right? So these changes to the newspaper have alienated their traditional readers, right? Drinking can feel alienating. If you're drinking, you can feel hostile, you can feel unfriendly towards people, you can also feel like you don't belong somewhere or people are trying to stay away from you, right? So that is alienate. Alienate, right? You can totally remember it, to be an alien, to be away from, people, earth, that is alienate. All right, our next word, aloof. Now, cute word, right? But it means distant, either physically or emotionally. You can also say reticent. Now, aloof sounds cute, but yeah, there are two O's here, right? Two O's. The O's are increasing the distance between L and F. So I'm just going to remember it like this. Aloof, the O's in the aloof are creating a distance between L and F. So L and F are now distant, physically or emotionally. We don't know yet. We'll have to ask L and F if they are physically or they are emotionally distant. Looks like physically, but yeah, could be emotionally too. Now, aloof means distant, right? Away from each other. It could be physically also, it could be emotionally also. He stood aloof from worldly success. That means there is this person who doesn't worry about the worldly success. He's not running after success. So he stood aloof. He stood at a distance from all these things. I find her very aloof and unfriendly. That means I find her very distant and unfriendly. She does not seem to mingle in people, like mingle among people. She does not seem like she wants to blend. She's always distant. Many people keep aloof from politics. That is true. Most people are not wanting to get trapped or get in the web of politics. So they stay aloof. They stay distant from politics, right? If this is politics, I'm going to stay aloof from it, right? Okay. So yeah, aloof, the O's are creating distance. So aloof means distant. Okay. All right. Let's look at our next word. Ambiguity, right? Now, ambiguity means having more than one possible meaning or inexactness. There is not an exact answer, right? So that is called as ambiguity. Now, having more than one possible meaning, let's say there is a degree of ambiguity in his statement, that there is a person, he gave one statement, but his statement has more than one possible meaning. Like we can't understand if he's clearly trying to say this or is he trying to say that. We're confused. There is an inexactness in his statement. So ambiguity means having more than one possible meaning, not having clarity. Incorrect choice of words leads to ambiguity for the reader. If you're not using correct words in your speech as well, if you're speaking to someone and you're not using correct words to convey what you want to say, it might lead to ambiguity. It might lead to inexactness for the listener or the reader, right? The law ought to be tightened to avoid any ambiguity. Now, the law should be tightened. Why? So that there is no inexactness. There is no someone is doing this and someone is doing that. Everyone should be able to do the same thing or be judged by the same rules. That is why the law ought to be tightened. So ambiguity means having more than one possible meaning or inexactness. Let's look at the next word. But before that, let's revise. Ambiguity, having more than one possible meaning or inexactness. Ambiguity means you are not clear as to what someone is saying. You feel there is another meaning as well to the same statement. You can also say it as inexactness, not getting the exact clarity, not getting the exact point of someone's speech. Aloof, distant either physically or emotionally. As you remember, O's between L and F are creating a distance. So aloof means distant. Alienate, to be an alien, right? To make unfriendly, hostile, indifferent, or estranged. To make someone feel like they have been alienated, that means they have been put away or drifted. They're drifting away from a group. Okay, alienate, you can say, is to separate someone from a group or separate yourself from a group. If you're alienating yourself from a group, that means you're separating yourself from a group, right? Alacrity. Alacrity means cheerful readiness, liveliness, eagerness, or briskness. If you're super cheerful about something or ready to agree upon something with a big smile on your face, or you're quick in your action or eager to know about something, it is called as alacrity. Aghast. a ghost, right? Let's say you saw a ghost and you were filled with horror. So that is what aghast is, filled with horror. Affectation. Affectation is your unnatural behavior or anyone's unnatural behavior to impress the other person, right? If you're doing something just to impress the other person, it is called affectation, right? Affable, friendly, right? My neighbor is an affable person. That means super friendly, or it could also mean they are easy to talk to. They are not rude. They are not abrasive, right? That means they're not rough and to talk to. They are not insensitive. They're super friendly. They're affable. Adulation, added admiration, right? So you can remember adulation, added admiration. So adulation is extreme admiration more than is deserved. It could even mean flattery, right? For example, employees sometimes do a lot of adulation for the boss. Next, adroit. Skillful and clever in dealing with people and situations. If you are adroit, that means you're skillful and you're clever in dealing with any person or any situation that comes your way. You are quick to react to it, or you know the exact thing as to what is to be done when dealing with this kind of a person or that. So that makes you adroit, right? Acute. Acute boy standing on the road looking very serious. So acute means very serious or something that is demanding urgent attention. It could also mean a sharp rise in something. Okay, so acute, very serious, sharp rise, or demanding urgent attention. Such things can be described as acute.